Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. A new video has been released showing Miami OnlyFans model Courtney Clenney seemingly attacking her boyfriend, who is now deceased, Christian Obumseli. For those of you who are not familiar with this case, I already have an initial video of this way back in my playlist because Christian Obumseli passed on in 2022 after a fatal stabbing at the hands of Courtney Clenney. Courtney Clenney is currently claiming that it was in self-defense. The case is still in court. She's being held without bail. And this case has traveled from 2022 to date. But what you just saw is a newly released footage by the attorneys for the family of Christian Obumseli, which is showing a seemingly violent encounter with his then girlfriend Courtney Clenney in Aspen, Colorado, back in 2022. Now, the video had some graphic words and also some seemingly graphic scenes, but because of YouTube's graphic policy, I've edited those ones out. So bear with me if you detect that the verbal language that they are speaking have been cut out to eliminate the graphic content. So has also been done for the video as well. Just bear with me. We need to promote decorum on this channel. Now, I watched this video because I've been following this case and I was trying to analyze the video to see which direction the whole thing seemed to have been going. Now, in my research on this video, there are several ways various authors and media houses are putting this. Some are terming these scenes that you saw in the video between Christian Obumseli and Courtney Taylor or Courtney Clenney as Courtney Clenney violently attacking her deceased boyfriend Christian Obumseli. So some are terming it as a violent attack by Courtney Clenney. Some are also terming it as a fight between them. Now, I'm sure you bear with me that these are not the same contexts. A fight is different from an attack by one person. So that in itself creates that inconsistency in how this situation is being described. And by virtue of this, I'm not surprised it's actually in court because it looks like there's a deadlock as to what actually happened. I'm going to put out a second video talking about matters arising after this video came out. But this video I'm putting out now is particularly to break down the footage as has been released just some few days ago. Now, at the beginning of the video, you will see that Courtney Clenney seems upset. And so I was wondering what seemed to upset her. It turns out that she's claiming that Christian Obumseli is cheating on her or having an affair behind her back. And at a point, she mentions 3 ladies as Christian Obumseli cheating on her with those 3 ladies. And Christian Obumseli is also denying that that is not the case. She goes on to reference another lady who told her to come for Christian and whatnot, and that Christian had made some inappropriate advances, to which he still denies and reassures her that, as he has been telling her, she is the only one that he is with and loyal to. Now, let's stop here and start the analysis. On this, again, there are divided opinions out there. The first view on this is that some people are claiming that Courtney Clenney is insecure and that her insecurities led to her violently attacking Christian Obumseli. I respect that opinion, but there's a counter opinion again out there that she's not insecure, but it's rather that she loves this guy and this guy seems to be toying with her by having affairs with other ladies. So a deadlock again. And these are my 2 cents on this. I appreciate the fact that there are people who can be insecure and see things which are not there. But I also appreciate the fact that some people can commit to others and just want them to reciprocate. And if you take those people for a ride, they will not be happy with you. That is not to say that justifies making the whole conversation fatal. That doesn't justify it. But an expression of pain about infidelity is very normal, as far as I know. Just that it shouldn't escalate to the point a life has to be lost. That is also not to say that Christian Obumseli was actually cheating. I haven't seen in my research any evidence to that effect. But watching this video that has surfaced, you begin to have to analyze from the two contexts so that you can feed your objectivity properly. I'm trying to do this devoid of any bias so that I can make an objective analysis as best as I can. But all that is my analysis. That is not the law. That is not to say that is what actually also happened. So that is that for that. I believe that there's a possibility Christian Obumseli may have been doing what she was accusing him of, in which case maybe she was emotionally hurt, but that wouldn't justify what would happen 2 months after this video, where Christian Obumseli lost his life to her and she is claiming self-defense. Or it may also happen that Christian Obumseli never did what he did and that she was just seeing things which are not there. Maybe she was just obsessed. We are waiting to see what it actually was. Now, the next angle of this is they did not shoot this video themselves. They didn't shoot this video themselves. It appears there was somebody also there who was shooting this video. In actual fact, you see a bit of the person's thigh and knee in the footage. And I'm asking myself, if you watched the footage closely, you would notice that at a point it got very heated. You would see Courtney Clenney trying to put hands on Christian and Christian also trying to restrain her. And sometimes it's as if Christian is sort of the one making the advance towards her, but not attacking her per se, but it feeds the tension both ways. That is how come I'm on the fence as to whether it should be classified as a fight or as a violent attack by Courtney Clenney, because it seemed like it was a back and forth. And if you are familiar with their case, this wasn't the first time they were caught in such situations. They've been having it a number of times. I have a footage where a similar thing occurred in an elevator, just that this time around there was no audio to it. But back to the point I was making, this video was shot by somebody. And I don't appreciate the fact that their conversation was getting so heated and at a point even escalating to, getting a bit physical, especially from Courtney Clenney towards Christian, and this person was still sitting down shooting the video. I don't get it. What happened to intervening and de-escalating? Which was most important? Because it appears at that moment, the person's priority was still on him or her having to continue on shooting that video. Now it is playing out as a form of evidence, but this is evidence after whatever happened has happened. And with some of these tenuous issues, maybe it could have fueled what was to happen 2 months after this footage was taken, where Christian Obumseli would end up losing his life due to similar tenuous situations like this between himself and Courtney Clenney. So what happened to intervening, de-escalating, bringing in people to try and defuse the situation? Because obviously, if we go down, there's a root cause to all these. And I believe that as friends and family, when you see some of these things happening, from your own angle and from the little you can do, it should be aimed at de-escalation. You don't sit by and watch and try to make it like you are minding your own business. I believe that once you start doing that, you are actually leaving the problem to grow. I'm not blaming the person who shot the footage. I'm just saying that I think he or she could have done more than just shooting the footage. He or she could have intervened, tried to de-escalate, tried to escort one of them out of that situation so tempers will calm down. And later, they look at how best they can solve whatever problem it was, instead of just sitting down and shooting that footage. If that particular incident or that tensious encounter had escalated into something there and then, whoever was shooting that video wouldn't have had enough time to quickly intervene, because it might probably have occurred in a split of a second. These are my thoughts though. But this video has been released and the case is still ongoing. And when it was released, it brought about several things. I'm going to talk about that in the next video I'll put out on this footage coming out. But as it stands now, Courtney Clenney, or some call her Courtney Taylor, is actually still being held without bail for the unaliving of Christian Obumseli. And the case is still ongoing. What do you think about this footage? And per my analysis, what do you also think about what I said? Is there something else I'm missing? Or is there a different perspective you have? Let's have a discourse on this. And personally, I think that when it comes to relationships, it's very important that we ensure we respect each other. People in a relationship should be ready to accord respect to each other. Respect in the sense that you respect how you affect the person and how the person affects you. So you begin to understand how your actions and inactions will affect the person. And that translates in every aspect of that relationship. So if you are flirtatious, you check yourself, because that could be creating pain for the other person. And again, if you are also a bit paranoid, you check yourself. You respect the dignity of the other person. You respect the integrity of the person. But at the same time, that person also respects his or her need to exhibit integrity and ensure trust for him or her in the other party, so to speak. So it's a 360 cycle. And you can't start destroying some of those elements and expecting things to be fine in that relationship. That is where things begin to go south. Personally, I believe that for relationships to be successful, it requires a level of maturity on some of these things. People need to sit down and hold themselves accountable for they having to play their part in helping their relationship grow. And parents and adults should also start teaching their kids some of these responsibilities at an early stage, so that by the time they are ready to engage in such relationships, they are emotionally and psychologically matured enough to start keeping healthy relationships. These are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Keep yourself safe out there, and hey, I'll catch you on the next one.